Well, thanks for joining us. Happy Olympics and happy Friday. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitawanich. We start tonight with great progress on a wildfire burning in Washington County, with some now being able to return to their homes. While people living on Southwest Summit Avenue and Lee Falls are under a level 3 go now evacuation, the rest of the Cherry Grove community has been reduced to a level 2.
And that means residents can return, though need to be ready to leave again at a moment's notice. Let's bring in John Adams a few miles east of the fire in Gaston. John, considering how grim things looked at this time last night, it sounds like firefighting teams have made a lot of headway.
A lot of headway today, David and Christine, and definitely some positive news this evening as fire crews have been able to build lines around the entirety of the nearly 300-acre fire as weather conditions turned favorable this afternoon. Since Thursday afternoon, Cherry Grove residents have been forced out of their homes by the Lee Falls fire that quickly grew to hundreds of acres in size.
Where you can feel and see the ash just raining down on you.
Many residents ended up camping at a park in nearby Gaston.
The smoke was coming over the hill and ash in the sky, falling, and we just got out of there.
Back in Cherry Grove, crews fought the fire from the air and from the ground on Friday, capitalizing on favorable conditions to make substantial progress.
Today was a great day for the firefighters and the community.
Crews were able to dig lines around the entire 280-acre fire.
What that means is that there's a line of at least 3 feet, maybe more, of like bulldozer line. It's bare dirt.
If the lines hold up for 24 hours, they become lines of containment.
Later on tonight, or most likely tomorrow morning, be at containment of at least 75%.
And more good news just before 8 p.m. on Friday. The Washington County Sheriff's Office announcing that a portion of Cherry Grove residents would be able to return to their homes.
Well, you're still going to see police and fire in the area because they're going to spot check and make sure everything is safe. Even throughout the night, the most important thing I think has probably already been covered by fire is that we had no structural loss.
Also, I want to bring you guys some updates on some injuries that were reported yesterday. 3 firefighters and 1 civilian were suffered from heat-related illness yesterday during the evacuation process. The good news is none of them had to be transported to the hospital, and they're all doing well now. So just a lot of good news today from Washington County. David and Christine, back to you.
Yeah, and we definitely needed it. John Adams live in Gaston tonight. Thank you, John. We also want to update you on the other fire that threatened some homes between Canby and Oregon City overnight. The Southend fire is now under control with evacuation orders reduced to level 1. The blaze there tearing up a steep hillside off Highway 99E towards several homes. The saving grace, a chopper that ferried 1,000 gallons of water at a time from the Willamette below and dropped it on the fire. Crews will keep an eye on things there for a few days. No word yet on the cause.
Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Safino now. And Matt, what conditions are we going to be seeing into the weekend?
You know, Christine, more good news really on the weather front because it's going to get more humid overnight tonight. The winds are down and temperatures, they're going to drop super low tonight because we've got higher humidity, but that humidity really helps along with the light winds, which are really non-existent in a lot of areas like out in Newburgh, Forest Grove, all around Hag Lake. We're just not seeing a lot of wind right now, which is fantastic. That's exactly what we want to see when it comes to fighting a fire, right? Temperatures have cooled into the 60s when you get out in the country here. 66 on Saddle Mountain, 69 at Hag Lake, 69 in Hillsborough. We are still in the 70s here in Portland, but that's typical that we're warmer in the city as we go through the evening hours due to the urban heat island effect. Lots of fires burning out there, and that, of course, playing into the smoke and the haze that we are seeing in our sky. This cluster down in the Cascades southeast of Eugene, putting a lot of smoke in our sky here in the Portland area. More on that for you a little bit later on. As far as the fire weather forecast goes, warm again overnight, but the winds are light. That's key. Also, the humidity is coming up. That helps a lot. Light winds, except potentially tomorrow afternoon near the valleys that drain the Coast Range to the east, so could get a little breezy around the fire. But for the most part, it shouldn't be too bad. And then much cooler weather Sunday and next week, along with higher humidity as that cooler marine air returns. Guys?
Yeah, good news. Thank you, Matt. We'll, of course, continue to follow the very latest evacuations and fire updates throughout the night and weekend, and we'll keep you updated on our newscasts and website, kgw.com.
All right, now to new information on a multi-state car theft ring busted in Oregon.
Police say thieves are using cheap electronics to steal American muscle cars. Now the suspected ringleader is in a Multnomah County jail cell. Alma McCarty breaks down what we know. Hey, Alma.
Yeah, hey, David, Christine. Earlier today, 21-year-old Eric Adams was arraigned on multiple charges, 16 counts, all related to that theft ring. Prosecutors say he'd pay people a couple $100 to locate these specific cars, and that's just the beginning.
The so-called Operation Get the Hellcat Out of Here, exposing a car theft ring stretching from Sacramento to Seattle.
I was kind of waiting for when it was going to happen up here, and it finally did.
And at the center, living in Central Point in Southern Oregon, suspect Eric Adams, a 21-year-old arrested on more than a dozen charges just this week.
He'd ask people that followed him on social media to give him locations of these performance cars, at which point they would go in the cover of darkness in the middle of night to steal the cars.
Back in March and April, Multnomah County prosecutors say Adams would boost or steal cars around Portland, like Challengers and Corvettes, valued at tens of thousands of dollars, and resell them for a fraction of the price.
Just sitting right there, the driver's side rear window was broken, had a towel over it.
Titan Crawford of PDX Stolen Cars helped investigators track down some of them.
They were selling them between $2,500 to $5,000 to other people on social media who obviously were aware that they were stolen.
The culprits, he says, break a window and get inside, then use a readily available device to replicate a key fob and take off.
30 to 60 seconds, they would have a key for the vehicle.
According to court documents, that was the case for at least 4 muscle cars, from this 2017 Chevy Corvette to this 2016 Camaro, and this distinct 2015 Dodge Challenger with Oregon Duck decals all over the vehicle. Titan believes this is just the tip of the iceberg and serves as a warning for drivers.
One of the biggest problems that has led to this is the key fob not having a physical key. And that's where this technology is able to take advantage of that. Any car is vulnerable that is a key fob push to start.
Crawford recommends what's called an OBD port lock, which prevent the car from having a new key made. And OBD, for those of us who aren't car people, stands for Onboard Diagnostic Port, and it's used to access the vehicle's computer. David, Christine?
Yeah, I had no idea this was even possible, and I'm so glad you filled us in. Thank you, Alma.
Okay, let's get you caught up on some of tonight's other headlines. Oregon is once again dealing with a backlog of rape kits waiting to be tested. 6 years ago, back in 2018, state police said they'd made an effort to clear up the backlog of the kits and had processed all of them. But now, 800 kits are untested, and data show the backlog started growing in 2021. State police say staff vacancies and pandemic-related issues are to blame. But there is some good news. Data show the lab has been making headway the last few months.
Meanwhile, Portland police say they've stopped about $2 million in hard drugs from hitting the streets in one of their largest single busts ever. Investigators say they intercepted more than 100 pounds of drugs Thursday on I-5. That includes 90 pounds of meth, 11 pounds of fentanyl, and nearly 4 pounds of heroin.
And 230 Oregon National Guard soldiers are preparing to deploy to the Middle East. Today, they held a mobilization ceremony at Pacific University in Forest Grove. The soldiers are set to spend a year as air defenders for the U.S. in Iraq and Syria. They'll be responsible for rocket, artillery, mortar, and drone defense operations.